Greetings everyone, and welcome back to Joe's Metal Mancave vlog. Today we're going to do my top 10 black metal albums according to Discogs. Now this is a pretty popular video criteria for metal vloggers on YouTube and maybe record collectors and all that in general, but I'm going to narrow it down, just to my black metal albums. And how this all came about is a few months ago I was just chilling and a buddy of mine sent me a text and said,
"So I took the plunge and became a Discogs dork. Spent an entire evening adding my entire collection. You can add me as a friend under the name, this is wow!"
To which I replied,
Ha ha ha! Honestly, I felt inclined to do that as well, but just haven't done it yet. Maybe someday. I'll look you up.
Yeah, and then like 30 minutes later, literally, I started adding stuff to my Discogs collection. So, something has to be said about Discogs though, and that being that, the prices on Discogs are in fact bullshit. Because what you gotta remember about Discogs is it's not as if some official grader is on there grading these albums and saying like, alright, well, this old Emperor album here, this old demo from 1992, this is worth this and all. No, how Discogs works is, people go on there, they sell their shit, and that more or less becomes the official prices for stuff. So if someone goes on there and sells an old demo for $500, then the old Emperor demo is suddenly worth $500. As it is, I don't really have anything that's overly expensive or overly rare, so this is not going to be necessarily the most exciting video you're going to see, but it's going to be all black metal, and somewhere down the line, I guess once I finally get all my stuff actually added to Discogs, I'm about 50% of my collection's probably been added at this point. Eventually I will do a top 10 heavy metal albums according to Discogs video as well, but God only fucking knows when I'll get to that. So anyway, once again, we are drinking a beer, and today we are enjoying this Oktoberfest Marzen from Hyinger, which is phenomenal. Got the fancy goblet out, so that's cool too. And pouring that way too fast. Yes. Very, very good beer if you have not had it. In case you were wondering, in the background we are listening to the Burzum tribute album called Visions. I would say 99% of the time I fucking hate tribute albums, but this one is really, really good, and kind of a funny story to go along with this album is I bought this back in 2002 from Unholy Records Store at Milwaukee Metal Fest, and not even realizing that Unholy Records is very much a far right-leaning NSBM Nazi label. I probably should have known based on the guy that was sitting behind the booth and selling stuff, but I was a whole 21 years old. Anyway, bought it from them, and I hadn't played this in a really long time, but it's really good. There's some very good covers on here, and some bands, or I should say a lot of the bands, really turn the songs into their own things, and there's like some covers of like the Dungeon since the ambient tracks that Burzum did in the late 90s as well, and those are considerably better. Even though they're still done in like a keyboard style, or some are done in like an acoustic manner. It's really, really good, but there's some really great artists on here, like a Borum, Fornost, Judas Iscariot, Lulor, Nocturnal Mortem, Pagan Hellfire, yeah, it's a really good tribute album, and if you aren't that kind of thing, definitely look it up. So anyway, we are going to I'm gonna kick things off here. I'm sorry, I didn't want this to be a big long intro, but it's turned into that now, isn't it? Don't knock your beer over, Joe. Do not knock your beer over. So up first, and I had to write this all down, of course. So up first, and in mint condition, and it's of course notable right from the get-go that probably nothing in my collection is actually in mint condition. In fact, I'm sure of it because I actually play it. Up first is Abigor's Nachthimmel from the Twilight Kingdom, of course. A classic album from Abigor. Absolutely fantastic. This one is apparently $67.33 in mint condition. Do I really need to say anything more about Abigor at this point, or on this channel? I mean, Yeah, I mean, it's endless. My love for Igor goes long, hard, and deep. And if you have not heard this album, or if you're like one of those people, it's like, there's nothing wrong with you, it's not good. And I don't know, you're missing out, because Igor is just as classic as any Norwegian or Swedish band from the 90s. So, knocked him from the Twilight Kingdom to kick things off. But of course, since everyone just loves Norway so much and loves all those classic Norwegian black metal albums, up next at $69.18 is Covenant's In Times Before the Light. I've sort of noted this before, but Covenant is unquestionably the first black metal album, or first black metal band I got into. Started with their much more accessible Nexus Polaris album from 1998, which is a melodic black metal masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. But this earlier affair is a much more grim, dark, and evil sounding symphonic black metal album. It's of course mostly the solo project of Nagash, who of course was also in Troll, and then would later on go into Dimmu Borgir, and then the Covenant, of course, by 2001 would go in that more electronic, skinny puppy, and not good style at all. But hearing it pure symphonic black metal, it's fucking awesome, man. I remember I bought this at the Milwaukee Metal Fest in 2000, I think. Yeah, only paid $14 for it, and well, there you go. It's worth considerably more these days. So, yeah. Then we are going. Wait, what is next? Oh, next is this is a band I absolutely love, so this is pretty cool. Bought this from a buddy of mine about 10 years ago from his distro. It's Beherit's The Oath of Black Blood picture disc. Huge fan of the early Beherit stuff. What can you say? It's some of the first war metal, I guess, but I mean, I don't know, or just pure black metal. I don't know what you want to call it, but when I was getting into black metal, this was one of those early things I came across, and I was just like, God damn, man, like, this is fucking... As soon as I heard Holocausto's vocals, I was like, man, oh man, that's intense, man. I was like, this is, wow. Like, I love this record, though, and I love, of course, Drawing Down the Moon, and really just, I mean, everything Beherit's done is really, really good. Even like the ambient experimental albums are really good. And I don't know if I said that, but according to Discogs, this is worth $75 in mint condition. But again, I played this many times and enjoyed it very much. And it was cool when I got this too, because it replaced a rather shitty bootleg I had of this album, which didn't have like the intro or one other song for whatever reason. I don't know, so glad to have the full Oath of Black Blood. Finally, about 10 years ago when I got this. Alright, then back to Norway again with Oliver and their debut album, Bergtats. Once again here we're talking about totally classic Norwegian black metal. I mean, a lot of people have heard this, for some reason you haven't heard it, well, you need to get with the picture, man. But absolute masterpiece. I mean, this is one of the bands and the albums that's surely helped push the folk influences in Norwegian black metal, and of course black metal in general over the years. This one originally coming out in 1994, or was it 95? Maybe 95. Yeah. But when I got this one, this was one of those albums I got way back in the days. One of the very first black metal albums I got, and it was one of those albums that really just made me feel like that beauty and darkness thing that black metal can often have. And it's one of the things that just kept me interested in the genre, kept me digging deeper, and yeah, man, just one of my all-time faves. So it's kind of cool that it's has some value to it too. Yeah. Anyway, and continuing on, this next item is priced at $76.92 in mint condition. And the item in question here is the Morbid box set, Year of the Goat. Morbid, of course, being the earliest band from Pelle Dead Olin, who of course went on to Mayhem and did monumental things with them and became one of the most, or maybe the most iconic black metal singer ever. Of course, then committing suicide in April of 1991. This box set came out back in 2011. I had to jump on it immediately because you get a remastered version of the December Moon demo from '87, which is fantastic, as well as some rehearsal tracks, and then a whole second CD of live tracks, which are, I mean, it's live tracks recorded back in 1987, so there's some limitations there, but it's still cool, and you get to experience that youthful energy, which is just, it's lost nowadays. I don't think even young kids even have that same kind of energy that was so important in, you know, in the 80s for all these heavy metal kids. But this box set is fucking awesome. And comes in a little slipcase, and then you got some of Dead's drawings all over the place, which is very cool. To this set, of course, it comes as, I guess, what you would call a media book, so to speak. It has lots of, basically the story of Morbid and Dead, and has lots of pictures and lots of, you know, comments from his close friends who, you know, knew him well and everything. Very, very cool. If you're a fan of Morbid at all, this is very much essential. I mean, even just to fully understand the roots of Scandinavian black metal, I think this is, you know, up there with, you know, Bathory and all that. I mean, this is where Swedish black metal, you know, with Bathory obviously starts with Morbid and Bathory. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. I mean, lots to read, but very interesting, especially if you've, you know, ever taken interest in Dead's music, which, yeah, awesome. All kinds of cool pictures, man, just too cool. Lots of stuff. Well, anyway, a bunch of other stuff, and then some other stuff here. And then I didn't realize this until a couple of weeks ago I was playing it, but if you look, I don't know if you're going to get the look on the video, but like inside there's some more additional artwork from Dead kind of hidden. That's kind of cool, but yeah, that is the Morbid Year of the Goat box set, valued at $76.92. Yes, we are doing very, very good here. Yeah. Well then, up next, and I should probably have said this at the beginning of the video because this was a bit perplexing to me, but some of the stuff that's kind of come up with some big prices, it's just like I don't understand why it's so much, but I'm just like, okay, whatever, I guess that's what it's worth. Sure. Anyway, up next is Evil Feast and their Winter Moon Enchantment album, which, once again, according to Discogs, is worth $78.42 in mint condition. Cool. Good thing I bought it from my local record store for like $12 back when it first came out. But yeah, Evil Feast, I have certainly talked about this band before on this channel, and this is phenomenal raw symphonic black metal from Poland. This album is just immense. I cannot say enough good things about this album if you have not heard it, but if you like just, yeah, raw symphonic black metal, I mean, it's so fucking good, and this guy just doesn't make bad music. That's what's most just intriguing about it, I suppose. Just awesome. Every album is great, every EP, every split, everything's involved. He just doesn't fuck around. He makes continuously awesome music, so yeah. Evil Feast, Winter Moon Enchantment. Yes. What are you guys drinking? Yeah. Alright, so continuing on, and now this next one is priced at $79.21. It is Sirius's Aeons of Magic. So, Sirius was a Portuguese black metal band, started in the late 90s, and this particular album is probably the best way to describe it is it's very, very much like early Emperor with perhaps just a little bit of like limbic art mixed into. Very, very strong symphonic and very fast black metal, and very, very good. So it's kind of cool that this is worth so much. Curiously, I think this was another one I bought at Milwaukee Metal Fest way back in the day. But this band is very, very good. Very underrated. They made a second album too, which kind of was a little more death metal-y, kind of reminded me of like Zyklon then, but still with like a lot of symphonic black metal characteristics. So The band wasn't particularly original, but they did it very, very well. And the keyboard player and drummer from this band, whose name is Daniel Cordoso, some years later he would go on to play drums and keyboards for Anathema, which, so yeah, I guess his musical tastes changed and evolved quite a bit after this came out, but Aeons of Magic, if you've somehow overlooked it, this is a very, very good album. Well, then moving on, and the next one in mint condition is priced at $96.39. What could it be? Well, this was another surprise for me, and I mean, again, according to Discogs. So it's the Mericognitium and Spectral Lore split release from, I don't know, I think about 10 years ago. I haven't listened to this one in a very long time, but both these projects have become very, very popular in the past 10 years. For a long time, I was sort of telling people to check out Spectral Lore because I'm a big fan of the earlier stuff, and this album's no exception. But I just haven't listened to it in ages, which is tragic, I guess, on my behalf. But this is very good, I guess, sort of space-themed black metal, and I mean, it's modern, you know, atmospheric black metal. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Again, I probably should have listened to some of these before doing this video, but you know how it is. But yeah, this is very good stuff. Both bands, Mericognitium is from, I want to say, California, whereas Spectral Lore is from Greece. Another sort of fun fact to tell you is that for years, I nagged the guy from Spectral Lore to do an interview with my old zine, Gnosis, and he kept saying no, and then I think a couple of years ago I saw an interview in like Decibel, so I was like, alright, screw you too, dude. I guess I'm not cool enough to be in to interview you, but yeah, go ahead and get interviewed with Decibel and get more popular or whatever. Asshole, I know, but whatever. Cool album though. I guess I'll have to listen to that one again and tell you if that's still cool. But yeah, apparently worth $96.39 in mint condition. Yeah. All right. So two more then, and we've almost got my top 10 according to Discogs. So then, yeah, up next is Hellfire and their album. I don't know how to pronounce this because it's in Basque language, which is some weird language that exists in Spain. But it's like Heroiz, fucking, oh my god, I don't know how to say it. I don't know, maybe you know it, but L4 is a project I've known about for many, many years. He originally started out as being pure dungeon synth, and then he slowly added more black metal elements, and this album is sort of a good mishmash of dungeon synth and atmospheric black metal. I'm more inclined to enjoy his earlier stuff and his more pure DS, but this is very good too. So you get a patch with this one, you get I guess a little advertisement for other albums, and comes in this digibook, which is always very cool. The book is basically like stapled in or glued in, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, this is a very good album. Lots of like little folky parts to it. What makes it interesting is like, you know, it doesn't sound like, I don't know, like Scandinavian kind of folk. It has that sort of like Spanish or, you know, I don't know, Southern European kind of feel to it or whatever. I don't know how the best way, but it's different. That's what I like about it. So yeah, very good album, and surprisingly priced at $99.99 in mint condition if I were to try and flip this on Discogs right now. Alright, so that's 9, or that's number 2, I guess. So what will be the top album in my collection? So in mint condition, the top black metal record in my collection is Abigor's Verwüstung Invoke the Dark Age. Yes, we are back to Abigor. This is one of my all-time favorite records. God, it's so fucking good. Abigor is interesting because unlike a lot of bands at the time, like, they all wanted to sound like the Norwegian bands, the Bigor did their own thing. They were more melodic, the production was different, they were, you know, it's just totally different atmosphere. It's still dark as hell and just so malevolent. Just fantastic vocals from Selenius, and I know there's a lot of people out there, and again, it's the more Nord-centric people that will just be like, oh, this isn't good. How could something released in 1994 be good? Only you read you death metal was good. Well, you know, I don't give a fuck, you know, if you haven't have that shitty attitude, but give it a shot. If you haven't listened to it in years, you may be impressed, or maybe not, or I don't know. Anyway, this is a reissue that came out, I think about 12 years ago on Chaos Sacrum Records. And yeah, it's the reissue. I mean, I don't normally, you know, go for this whole, like, you know, buying reissues of albums I already own. So I've had the CD version for many years, but I had to jump on this one. So I guess I mean, come on, look at this vinyl. That's too cool. And I know I've like poo-pooed on like color variants and all that kind of stuff before, but very cool looking, sort of, I don't know, smoky swirl, marble, what have you. I don't know. But again, you know, I've played this many times on vinyl. Of course, I'll play the CD version as well. It depends on what I'm doing or whatever. But yeah, there you have it. There is my top 10 black metal albums according to Discogs. The interesting thing when I was doing this video is I was looking up some albums that I used to own, and I was like, oh, damn. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. I mean, some of that stuff I actually recently sold too and made some good coin. Like, I used to have the first two Wolves in the Throne Room demos, which I sold to some guy in like the Netherlands for like $130, and I'm just like, okay, thank you. You take your shitty black metal and you enjoy that. Thank you for the money. I'll buy some cool shit. But yeah, I remember I bought that for like $5 and to sell it for $130 is quite a nice turnaround, I would say. But yeah, otherwise I'd be showing that and a few other items, but you know, it is what it is. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. I will eventually, whenever I add all my items to Discogs, will do a top 10 heavy metal in general albums according to Discogs, and you should see. Oh, I should have also mentioned this from the get-go. I have purposefully not shown my Agalok vinyls for this video because I mean I don't really consider Agalok black metal enough to really, you know, fit them into all other stuff, but also because I had the Agalok video a few months ago where I showed all those vinyls anyway, so there was no point in literally showing like 3 vinyls from Agalok again, because it would have been a little boring, and obviously already seen them if you pay attention to this channel. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for checking out Joe's Metal Man Cave, and whoa!